A good mind is a terrible thing to waste. Grace and peace, everybody. Welcome to Sabbath School Study Group. This is part number 5, last part of this 5-part series, looking at the parables of Mark chapter 4. As we go back now to look at the parable of the sower, in the beginning part of this parable, focusing not on the seed, but now on the soil. If the seed is what comes from God, let's now look at what we have to offer. What is it that we can do or bring to the seed in order for it to do what it's intended to do? We'd be amazed to find out that we just have to be good dirt. But before we try to explain that, I want to thank you again for watching. We appreciate you, your prayers, your support. Please subscribe to the channel so we can stay connected, and take the 2 seconds, hit that like button. That helps others find the video. And also, always share this video. Pass it on to someone else to encourage them. And we welcome you. Go visit us online, changeministry.org. Glad you're watching this on whatever video player you may be catching it on. But there's a whole lot more, and you'll see that there at changeministry.org. So let's go. Back in the day, there was an ad that was used to promote education and the investment of education. And one of the lines that they had in the ad, it says that a mind is a terrible thing to waste. A good mind is a terrible thing to waste because it's the mind. That's the soil. That's the place where the word of God is intended to grow. In Mark chapter 4, verse 3 and 8, Jesus says, "Hearken, behold, there went out a sower to sow." We understand that. But when we get to the one that was successful, or the seed, or where the seed prospered, Jesus says, "And others fell on good ground and did yield fruit that sprang up and increased and brought forth, some 30, some 60, some 100. Same seed, one message, one motive, but the success of that message was the soil. It was the soil that would dictate the degree to which the seed would perform its good work. It's the soil, the lowest, what would appear to be the most inexpensive, the most irrelevant element is actually the most relevant. It's the most important when it comes to growing in grace. Do we have a mind that allows the work of God to do its work? Even down in verse 20, he repeats it when he says, "And these," in his explanation, "and these are they which are sown on good ground." What's good ground? Good ground is ground or a mind that hears the word and receives it. And because of that, it brings forth fruit, some 30-fold, some 60, and some 100. This is the where of the seed. This is where the seed thrives. We know why God gives us the seed, because he wants to save us. We know that what God gives us is salvation, but here is where that salvation works best. It works best in a mind that is open to hear and surrendered enough to believe what it hears. Believing is so important in the seed process, in the salvation process. It's the only way that we can access the grace of God. How important is this belief? It's so important that when Jesus describes belief, he literally calls it our job. It's the only thing that we can do for the God who has given everything, including his only begotten son. Our only response is to believe it. This is what Jesus said. In John chapter 6, verse 27, Jesus said, "Labor not for the meat which perisheth, but for that meat which endureth unto everlasting life, which the Son of Man shall give unto you." So Jesus says you don't have to work for what I'm going to give you. Here is what you have to do, though, to get what I'm going to give you. "For him hath God the Father sealed. Then said they unto him, What shall we do that we might work the works of God? Jesus says and answers unto them, This is the work of God, that you believe on him whom he hath sent." That's our work. This is good soil. Hearing and believing the word of God to the point that we live the word of God. That is that heart. That's that mind that God says, that is where I begin. So brothers and sisters, as we get to the end of this series, our prayer is that having had a God who loved us so much to give us Jesus, to then now tell us stories in order to put it where we can get it, to understand in order for us to believe, now we have the opportunity to do the one thing that we can really do. And all we have to do is to believe what he said, believe what he's done, Believe what he's thinking. Believe the word of God. If a good mind is a terrible thing to waste, it's also a great thing to give to God.